It is a 4-hour drive through the desert of one of Iraq's most restive provinces.
We can see all of the destruction as we drive, and if you look way off into the distance in the tree line, you can see areas ISIS still holds.
This is what a once thriving, vibrant city looks like after ISIS takes control and the Iraqis, with American air power, take it back. Block after block, mile after mile. Schools flattened, homes destroyed, bridges blown apart. Only some 15,000 families have been able to return to a city that was once home to 1 million. This family of 8 barely getting by.
It's a bit difficult. Electricity, water is very difficult.
The city may be liberated, but people here are far from safe. It's estimated that this city has more unexploded bombs, unexploded ordnance than any place on Earth.
And it is left to an American company to find them.
Do not pick anything up. Do not move anything.
You got it.
They do not want their faces shown, but these bomb technicians are trying to clear thousands of hidden bombs that ISIS left behind.
But what you see coming out of the jugs is homemade explosive.
To clear Ramadi, it will take years, if not decades.
Tensions are simmering in Caracas, where protesters are demanding a recall of President Nicolas Maduro.
This is our right to peacefully protest. All Venezuelans have to tell the president and the world that we want a referendum. Referendum now.
Their rally comes hours after Maduro declared a state of emergency because of what he said were plots to subvert him. The country is facing shortages of food and medicine, raging inflation, and rampant crime rates. Miranda State Governor and opposition leader Enrique Capriles says all of Venezuela is under threat.
Venezuela is a time bomb that could explode at any moment. We don't want the bomb to explode. And because of that, we call on everyone to mobilize in favor of a recall referendum in 2016.
Despite high poll numbers against him, Maduro has vowed to stick out his term, accusing the opposition and the U.S. of trying to orchestrate a coup against him.
Havana came alive with pride Saturday as hundreds of colorful Cubans spoke out against homophobia and transphobia. The Conga Against Homophobia March, at times a dance, was joined by U.S. actress Candace Cain and was led by the daughter of Cuba's leader, Raul Castro. Mariela is a legislator and Cuba's top LGBT activist.
Marriage isn't the greatest aspiration to guarantee rights, but we do defend it as an option, just as heterosexual couples have.
She said she hopes gay rights, including gender identity, would be expanded in the near future. But until then, a show of colorful activism in a place where, historically, freedom was lacking for this community.
Israeli stun grenades and tear gas rain down on this mock train as it travels down the main street of Bethlehem, and the crowds that accompanied it scurry to safety. The train is part of a series of demonstrations by Palestinians to mark the Nakba, or catastrophe, when hundreds of thousands of their people fled their homes after the nation of Israel was created in 1948. In the West Bank city of Ramallah, the commemoration was more calm, with people standing still as a siren sounded. Then reenactors depicted the refugees who fled, carrying suitcases and baskets on their backs. In Gaza, huge crowds marched through the streets, carrying a giant Palestinian flag and a map showing their displaced villages. Palestinian refugees have been demanding the so-called right to return to those villages, one of the many sensitive issues that remain between the Palestinian and Israeli governments.
Just after we arrived to liberate the area, we met with Kurds and Arabs and asked them about Daesh's crimes. We discovered thousands of bodies of innocent victims in the ravine.
They would bring those still alive to the precipice, blindfold them, and shoot above their heads to scare them. People would then start running and fall over the edge. They'd bring the bodies of others, covered in blankets, and throw them off the edge. The proof is these bones and the blood that's there. Nobody knows how deep the gorge is.
The aftermath of yet another suicide bombing claimed by Islamic State in Baghdad. This time, the target was a marketplace. At least 38 people were killed. The attack here in the Shiite district of Al-Shab was one of 3 to strike the Iraqi capital on Tuesday, extending the deadliest spate of assaults there this year. The 2 other attacks were car bombs that killed at least 25 and wounded dozens. Security has improved in Baghdad in recent years, but these attacks and other recent assaults have left many residents wondering whether the government can keep them safe from an enemy that shows no signs of backing down.
Also this morning, another major earthquake has jolted Ecuador just weeks after a quake in the same region caused this damage and killed hundreds of people. Today's quake was not as strong, but it did collapse some buildings and cause power outages, and it raises concern about more aftershocks.
6 people have died and 3 people remain in critical condition after a highly active volcano erupted on Sumatra Island, Indonesia, Saturday afternoon. Officials say more could still be trapped by the hot ash.
And Liz, what is the latest here?
Well, there appear to have been 5 suicide bombings at various locations in these 2 cities and 2 car bombs. They went off between 9 and 10 in the morning, just when the city was gearing up. Activity was peaking, and so they caused huge casualties, as well as the mayhem that ISIS intended. The message is, we can get to you anywhere, including in this region, which is the most heavily protected and has been the most stable since the beginning of the Syrian war. ISIS, for the first time in a communique a couple of days ago, made reference to the fact that it was losing territory, and then went on to threaten America and the world. If you think we're going to go away just because we've been deprived of the territory that we had captured, you're wrong.